Welcome to Between the Covers. We have quite a wild audience today, so we're so glad you can join us. Between the Covers is the show for readers and writers and lovers of books. And I am so thrilled to have three fabulous writers of books with us today. So my name is Stephanie Larkin. I'm an author and a book publisher with Red Penguin Books. We work with authors of all types and genres, so if you have a book inside you, unleash your inner author and go to redpenguinbooks.com. But let's meet our authors for today. So we have today Lisa Diaz-Meyer. I'm so thrilled that you're here.
Thank you.
And Linda Trott-Dickman and Marianne McMahon. Thank you.
you.
And we have all sorts.
Me.
Oh my God. Now, Between the Covers is a show, but it's also a club. So in club fashion, we have library cards.
Oh, great.
I know that we have a librarian here, so library cards work out very well. If you would like to join our book club, just go to betweenthecoverstv.com and sign up there. Well, what do you get for signing up? Well, you're going to be on our newsletter. We send out all sorts of things ranging from book recommendations, free books, information about our authors, all sorts of things. And if you're in town on a Wednesday night, come by and you can have a glass of wine with us. And if you're watching the show and you're also an author, please click on Be Our Guest. We would love to have you on the show. If you're living here on Long Island, you could join us on the Red Couch. If you live someplace else, we've had authors from all over the country and all over the world who join us via Skype. So just sign up to be our guest, and we'd love to have you here. So thank you. Did you find us through the web or recommendations, or I think you were a recommendation? From a guest?
Yes, from a guest.
From a guest. And Linda, how did you find us?
Through Paulie Greco.
Really?
Through Paulie Greco's mom.
Okay, I love that. I love that. And Marianne, how did you find us?
And I found through Monsignor.
From Monsignor
Sean
Ogle.
Ogle, right?
Yes.
And he recommended, he was telling me that
That's
someone
right.
that he knew had a show, and so he
It's
recommended.
amazing where our reputation goes.
I know. And the
I
next
love
day,
it.
you emailed me. I was like,
And
wow,
here
that's
you
official.
are. And here you are on the Red Couch.
I know. I'm excited. Thank you.
Well, before we get into your books, I put up a little book quote to see how well our audience knows books.
Uh-oh.
Now, I have three experts on the couch, so you can whisper to me the answer, but let's see if our audience knows the answer to this. Our audience here in the room as well as at home. Bobby, do we have our slide? We're still looking for it. No, it's the one that says, do you know this quote? Oh, we might have to wait on this through technical difficulties. That's okay, Bobby. We'll do it next segment. That's okay. They were going to get it wrong anyway. I had no doubt they were going to get it wrong anyway. We'll let them think about it for a little while. But I'd love to know what you are reading, because who is it that said, you're a librarian, who said that to be a great writer, you have to be a great reader? Was it Stephen King?
Oh, I don't know. Every teacher I've ever had.
Well, yes. Marianne, what are you reading? Or what would you like to recommend?
Well, I was watching a TV show, and Hoda Kotb, I believe is how to say it.
Yes.
So she was on, and she was telling about things that made her happy, simple things in life that made her happy, because she had just adopted a daughter. And it was just wonderful. And I said, I have to go out and get this book. And just the illustrations and just like the little simple things that make you happy in life. It doesn't really take much.
Oh, look at the teddy bear.
Yeah, I mean, they're just like fabulous. And then, at the end of the day, the happiness is having her daughter, which I know now she's adopted a second daughter.
Really?
So, yes, yeah. So, I mean, I just thought this was wonderful. It just brings, it brings such joy to life. And I always believe in focusing on the positive and, things that, try to think of things that will enrich your life and, make you happy. And like I say, it doesn't really, it's just simple things. So this is for babies bursting out of eggs and for growing tall, for lucky breaks. And then at the end, so when she was reading, I believe, to her daughter at night, so it was part of the, the bedtime routine. So then it says, every night and all day through, the one I'm thankful for is you.
Aww.
So, yeah, so I just thought this book was so beautiful.
We should all read children's books.
And yes, Those are my favorite books.
We should all read children's books.
Because they have such just beautiful messages, and messages that all of us can learn, throughout life, and just to, like I said, appreciate the simple things, and
I love that.
Things that'll just really, make us grow through life.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum, Lisa's going to recommend some dark fiction to
Oh.
us.
Yes, I am.
What are you going to recommend?
Okay, I'm going to recommend. I have two. My first one is Church Mouse, Memoir of a Vampire Servant by R.H. Hale. And it is literary gothic horror.
Ooh.
And every page is creepy. It's actually brilliant.
I love
how
that
it's
we have
done.
you both at the same time.
I know. It's
in the
brilliant
middle.
how it's done, because you never get like the feeling of ever coming out of, like this dark, dank, world. And she does a wonderful job of it. And so I'm recommending
Okay.
to, anyone who likes literary gothic horror. This is a wonderful, wonderful book.
Fantastic.
And the next one
Oh,
is Cisco
I love this book.
by Long Island author Debbie DeLuise, and it is about a lighthouse. It is a lighthouse murder mystery, and the characters are great. She always has pet owners as characters, and this book has a cat. Usually it's a cat. And I've read almost all of her books, and this is one of
Absolutely.
my favorites of hers, and the mystery is wonderful, and great summer reading, even kind of winter reading, I would say, if
Yeah.
you really like to get the feel of being, by kind of a lighthouse and a beach house as a children or
I
an
love it
adult.
as a summer read
Yes.
too. Absolutely.
Yep, so those
and,
are my
and Debbie
two.
is one of our
Mysteries,
authors
yes.
here at Between the Covers,
Yes.
so I'm thrilled you brought her book.
Yes.
And Linda, the librarian who brought a huge stack of books. I love that. What should we be reading?
Well,
Or what have you read that touched you?
okay.
Everything.
I'll do my best to
Everything.
make it brief. This is called A Map to the Next World by Joy Harjo. She is the current new United States Poet Laureate. She is a member of the Muskogee tribe. She writes of the Muskogee Navajo experience, but she also writes of the Hawaiian experience. Wow. She's living in Hawaii right now. She's this really hot ticket. I think she's over 70. She lives in Hawaii. She's in a rock band, and she's always doing
She's
something.
my hero already.
Yeah, she's always doing something wonderful for others. And I had the privilege of meeting her at a conference, and she's just down to earth and wonderful.
Right.
So
You have one of my favorites.
The Little
books there.
Prince, this is so marked up because I've been reading it at the Northport Historical Society. It was written in Northport, New York on
Which I
Eaton's
didn't
Neck.
know. I love that.
And he was hiding during the Second World War and living and learning English, and his teacher went to Northport High School and taught him how to speak English, and he was no easy student. So I'm going to go with the children's books first, and I'll save Corey for a minute. The Fantastic Flying Books of Mr. Morris Lesmore. This was written just after Hurricane Katrina. This man is an amazing author. He's written so many things. His film won the Academy Award for short feature. This is about, the message of this book is everyone's story counts. And if there's not a better message than that, if
That's
there's
a
one, I
great message.
don't know.
That's a great
This is called A Weave of Words by Robert de Saint-Souci. I love it because there's a strong woman character, and she doesn't stand for the guy coming up and saying, "Oh, you're beautiful, I want to marry you." She says, "You know what, show me you can read, and show me you've got a craft." And it's fabulous. I used to read it for Valentine's for the upper grades, 5th grade especially, because it's an unusual Valentine's story.
Love it.
And this is called The House of Wisdom by Florence Perry Heidi and Judith Heidi Gilliland. This one is another story of the primary quote that I love from this one is, "We are all," hang on, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Of course I can't find it. If I can't find it, I will put it away. It's all basically the story of we are all leaves on the same tree separated by generations.
Oh,
And I just think that's such an amazing thing to say and to purport.
that's amazing.
Okay, so then this one
And I love
is,
that you brought library books.
yeah.
Loving
Well, those
that.
are from my personal library, but this is from the public library because I couldn't find my copy. It's called The Hiding Place by Corrie ten Boom, and it is one of the most amazing stories of Christians hiding Jews during the Second World War and why they also went to prison camps. And the thing that I marked in this story that moved me beyond words was they were praising God for fleas in the concentration camp. And you think to yourself, why? Because then they could have a Bible study. And they were able to study the word with no German interference because the Germans didn't want the fleas.
Wow.
So when you talk about making lemonade,
That sure is.
I'm done.
I love that. Please. Love that. Well, after you read all of these books, what we would love for you to do, well, share them, pass them around to your friends. But if you have spare books at home that need a home, we would love for you to donate them to the Book Fairies. We have a slide here for the bookfairies.org. You can drop your books off there, or you can bring them here to the show anytime we're filming. Every week I drive over cartloads of books because our guests and audiences bring them. The bookfairies.org distributes over 50,000 books per month all over Long Island and to libraries in Africa to make sure that our children here at home and abroad are able to have books in their libraries and in their schools. So if you have books of any age level, not just children's, they also distribute to prisons and other places where people need books. Please, please donate to the bookfairies.org. We're going to take a short commercial break and we'll be right back.
Let's go. Let's go, Mom. No, I have plans with her. I'm sorry, but that's the deal we made.
A little bit closer, a little bit to the left. Yes, leave your beer, please. Okay, there we go. 3, 2,
Daddy,
1.
Daddy! Daddy, where's Mommy?
Do you have a book, either in your head or on your desk, just waiting to get out to anxious readers? Hi, I'm Stephanie Larkin, author, book developer, and head penguin at Red Penguin Books. We're a publishing company specializing in books of all genres and publishing in all formats, including digital, audible, and print books. From business books to romance, memoirs to mysteries, our authors have complete control over their books from start to print. We'll help get your book to booksellers all around. Major booksellers such as Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Walmart, even libraries and bookstores around the world. We believe in our authors. So call or email today to get your free publisher's packet to get started. Just visit us at redpenguinbooks.com and get your book out there and into the hands of your readers. At Red Penguin Books, you call all the shots. So call us today and turn your dreams into a reality. Welcome back to Between the Covers. Thanks so much for joining us. Our first author up today, Lisa Diaz-Meyer, did not write just one book or two books, but we have a whole pile of books here.
Yes.
You've been busy.
Yes, I have. Yes.
And I see a theme. We have All Roads Home, All Roads Destined, and All Roads Shattered.
Right.
This is the culminating.
Yeah, that's the latest one that I have, and it, kind of summed up between all three of them. There is a post-apocalyptic story that runs through all of them.
Right.
So it starts off in Home, and then it takes up most of Destined, and then it kind of finishes off at in All Roads Shattered.
These are also littered with book awards.
Yes.
And I am
Littered?
Yes, littered.
Look at this. They are. We have barely
That's
seen
great
them.
trash.
They are just littered with book
Impressive.
awards.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. That's just amazing. I didn't get a chance to read the first two, but I got to read
Yes.
Shattered, so I well deserved on the book awards.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So tell me how you got started writing.
I used to write as a child, as a little girl. Always wanted to read, loved books, loved libraries, just loved books. Everything bookish.
Linda loves hearing this.
Yes, and I don't know, just writing kind of just happened all along with with the reading, and I just loved it.
Now, you write kind of, dark fiction, poetry, short stories. Is that also what you generally read? Is that how you
Yes.
got into that genre?
Yeah.
Because that's your
Yeah.
interest?
Yes. I just recently had finished a post-apocalyptic short story from another author, and it is pretty much what I read. I read a lot of Anne Rice or Stephen King.
Okay.
Fantasy. It's any of those science fiction
Right,
stuff like
right.
that. But I will, kind of, go into other stuff like cozies and mysteries and romance. I will,
Now, you
branch
didn't
off.
get into dark fiction when you were a young girl. Was that like a teenage?
No, I actually
dabbled
did.
in-
I used to,
Did
as a child,
you?
I did like anything kind of scary and.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yep. Yep, it was like a,
I couldn't even watch The Wizard of Oz.
yeah, no, I always, Oh, yeah, I still, right
So
now
you
I'm very
watch, like,
comfortable.
horror movies, too?
Yes. Usually I laugh through them, but, that is what I will look for first if I can't find anything else.
Wow, that's just fantastic. In fact, I freaks out so much just with Stephen King. I mean, I read On Writing, and I read his most recent book,
Right.
the one that he was floating, and that was amazing. But I'm a Pet Cemetery. I saw it once and I
Right.
freaked, so I could never. Yours, I had to keep all the lights on while I was
really?
reading your
Oh,
books,
cool.
just in case.
Cool. That's cool, yeah.
Read them in the daytime.
Yes,
Yeah.
let me read this in the
That's-
daytime.
That's what I want to hear, yeah, that's
Yes,
cool.
were you like an Edgar Allan Poe fan?
Yes, I
too,
like
when you
things
were-
like that.
Ah,
Yes,
see?
Sleepy Hollow is as
Oh,
a
I
young
love
person,
that.
I always, anything like that.
We should have you on our Halloween special.
Yeah,
then.
right. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
just amazing. Now, what do you find the most challenging thing about writing?
Writer's block is a thing that ideas, things like that.
Right.
That to me is a big challenge.
I am always amazed with fiction writers because I write, but I write nonfiction. I don't write fiction, and I would love to write fiction because I hear fiction writers say to me all the time when they visit, I can't believe that this character
Right.
did that, or he died. I'm so upset, and I think you're the one who's writing this stuff. Or why are you so surprised? Does that
Right.
happen to you?
Yes. Yeah, it'll happen. People will like the characters. Even when I'm reading, I fall in love with the characters,
Right.
as well as the stories. And I guess maybe when I think about like thrillers and something scary, I kind of, to me, I feel very connected to
Right,
like
right.
the fears of the fear part of the character.
Do any of your characters or storylines surprise you? Like they go in a different
Sometimes.
direction than you thought?
Yeah, sometimes yes. Yeah, not all the time, but sometimes.
But sometimes you
Yeah.
just sit back and say, I wrote that?
Yeah. I mean, when I'm writing, I will picture the end in my head, and then by the time I get there, it's completely changed. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm way too type A for that to ever happen. I think that's amazing. Now, I'll ask the others because they're so different, but because you are a dark fiction writer, I'm envisioning that your writer's study has, like leather and dark wood, and you light a candle, and
I do some stuff. When Halloween comes, I don't want to put a lot of my stuff away. So, there are some things. There'll be some candles, or the battery operated ones.
Right.
And they stay longer, and
you
but
do
we
kinda
haven't have
set
to
the
blow it out.
scene.
Yes. I will put some stuff out. Yeah.
Because you mentioned writer's block, and it's so hard because of time, and it's an art and it's creative, but we also have real life and our phones ringing and kids and pets and whatever else might
Right.
be happening. That's why does scenery help you with writer's
Yes.
block?
It does, yeah. And strangely enough, I like to be at the ocean, even though it has nothing to do with anything scary, but it is something that calms you down and keeps you kind of at peace to write.
I like
so I
that.
will, pull up stuff like that, ocean things. And
I love it. Any tips for young writers or old writers
Or
that
old
might be out
writers?
there? They don't have to be young.
My tips are always have an editor. Always make sure somebody else reads your stuff so you can get another opinion.
I love that.
And I think that, not to kind of give up, but always read. that's really what I think is very important, to not stop reading. You know what I mean? Because you will get ideas from there, and it's just really, I think, better off to be a writer.
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny, sometimes I'll say that to people who want to write, and they're afraid that if they read too much, they're going to copy. You know, they're almost like avoiding their genre. Like if they were going to write a children's book, well, I better not read any children's books. And I said, no, it's not like that.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
not.
what would you say to someone about that?
I think that everybody would have their own certain kind of flow or way of writing.
Right.
So that won't really happen. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
hard to say, yeah, I'm going to copy Stephen King. It's not going to happen. It's
We
not going to
wish.
happen. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's not going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
You will have
right.
your own way of writing.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
people
so
I know are
read
very
it.
much afraid of that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So read all the time. You're not going to copy somebody else's thing, especially because everybody has their own voice and their own pen once they get it down from here to here. So
Now, you mentioned a pen. Do you write with a pen?
Yes,
or do
I
you
do.
write with- You do.
yep, the old-fashioned way.
You actually have paper and a pen.
Yes, yep. I pick
So
up really cute
all of
notebooks.
these books were written.
By
on-
hand. Yep.
Oh, I should have asked you to bring that. Can you?
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah,
Like
there's lots of
1,000
them. Yeah.
pieces of paper?
Yeah, lots of notebooks, and then I sit there and type it. I go through it. I write it, and then editing. You kind of go through reading it, and you edit it, and then once I start putting it on the computer, there's more editing involved, and that's when you really start, just taking everything away and adding more things. So there's a few ways to go through your editing process. So you know what I mean. That's what I kind of do.
I love that you're writing with paper. Okay,
Yeah.
now I'm really picturing
Yeah.
you with like a fountain pen with
Oh, yeah, I know,
a feather
right?
and a skull.
I know. No, it's usually just some kind of notebook and any pen that I can find that writes. I have millions of pens.
Oh, okay. So you're not
all over
really
my house.
particular?
No, not particular.
Oh, okay.
I just, usually find a notebook that I like the cover of. I don't even know. And then any pen that works near me.
Wow.
And the whole house has got tons of pens.
Flexible about this.
Yes. Yeah, because you just, whenever it hits you. A lot of times I feel like I'm not going to have my computer. I'm not going to be at my computer.
Right.
I'm sitting at my couch, or, out, or sitting in my yard, and I want to write. I can't take the whole. You know what I mean? So I'd rather just have the books with me.
I love that. Do you two write with a pen or with a computer?
I do. A lot of times I use my iPhone.
I write with
And
my
I send
iPhone a lot too.
And I send the message to myself.
Right, right,
and then, Yeah,
right.
save and because by the time I write it down, and then it doesn't quite sound right. It sounds you can
Right,
change
right.
it also on the So I use the iPhone.
And
a lot,
Linda,
you
you're
know.
shaking your head. Yes, you write with a pen.
I do.
She brought props.
Yes.
I always have a writer's notebook. I always have a writer's notebook because if when I'm in the choir, I'm writing on the church bulletin, and the kids thought I was.
I'm going to tell your choir director.
They
on
know.
you.
They know what I'm doing. One of the kids thought I was playing crossword, and I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm writing poetry while I'm being inspired. So I always have something to write on.
I love this. And so many times I speak with people and they think, nobody reads real books anymore. And even my own children who are young, they don't want to read on an iPad. They want actual books in their hand. How about our audience? How many of you would rather read a book or an iPad? Book? Yay! Good. Read their books. Absolutely. Read their books. I love it. So people want real books, and you're writing with a pen. It's like we're 100 years
Yeah.
ago. I love this.
Yes. Yeah, I was very, it's just how I've always written since I was a kid. You know what I mean?
I
had the
love
pen.
that.
I didn't want to change. I'm also not the greatest typist in the world. So
Join the club.
yeah, I'm not a great typist.
So tell me, what's next on your agenda? We have All Roads Home, All Roads Destined, All Roads Shattered.
Right. Hoping for another one that's another All Roads, and then
Okay.
maybe after that I may do some romance just to change it up.
Ooh.
'Cause you get, after
Is it
a
going to
while
be
it's-
dark? Is she going to kill
It
him?
might. It might. It might be. Yeah.
Those will be off-road.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I need an autograph from
Okay.
such a fabulous author here. We're going to take a commercial break, and we will be right back.
It's like the hot seat. Huh?
Just come on. No, I have plans with her. I'm sorry, but that's the deal.
A little bit closer, a little bit to the left. Yes, leave your beer, please. Okay, there we go. 3, 2,
Daddy,
One.
Daddy! Daddy. Ash, Mommy.
Do you have a book, either in your head or on your desk, just waiting to get out to anxious readers? Hi, I'm Stephanie Larkin, author, book developer, and head penguin at Red Penguin Books. We're a publishing company specializing in books of all genres and publishing in all formats, including digital, audible, and print books. From business books to romance, memoirs to mysteries, our authors have complete control over their books from start to print. We'll help get your book to booksellers all around. Major booksellers such as Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Walmart, even libraries and bookstores around the world. We believe in our authors. So call or email today to get your free publisher's packet to get started. Just visit us at redpenguinbooks.com and get your book out there and into the hands of your readers. At Red Penguin Books, you call all the shots. So call us today and turn your dreams into a reality. Welcome back to Between the Covers. It's not often we get a poet on with us, and especially a poet who's sitting there writing on the side of a church bulletin during choir practice. I'm loving every bit of
Secrets
this.
out, everybody.
So please welcome Linda Trott Dickman, The Air That I Breathe, and I loved this, Robes, The Art of Being Covered. Ooh, that's such a great title, besides the poems, which are beautiful also. So sneaking around and writing with a pen.
Yes,
And you've been a librarian for
40 years.
You're like an expert in books.
I just love kids, and I loved my kids, and my kids loved me back, and it was a good marriage, and it lasted 3 schools and 40 years.
Oh my gosh,
It was
that's
worth
wonderful.
every single minute.
Thank you for all of those kids that you've inspired who now read.
One of them just turned 51 today.
You can't possibly have a
I
student. No.
I have grant students.
Oh my gosh. So you were in the schools, grammar school, high
Yes,
school?
elementary.
Elementary schools.
the whole time.
That's just amazing. And that's when you're really instilling a love of reading with them. Thus, now I understand why the pile of children's books that she was recommending. And you threw in one from a poet, which I was delighted.
Well, I've been writing poetry since I was in sleepaway camp in California. I think I was like 10 years old. And my parents sent me to a CYO camp, and we had little marble notebooks to do things with, and I wrote in my notebooks, and don't have them. I wish I did, but
Oh.
I just started writing then, and I like to write in the margins of all kinds of things. My plan books are full of things that kids said over the years that were amazing, and I couldn't get rid of my plan books because the kids gave me inspiration.
Right, right. So, your house is just littered like you are with your
books.
with quotes.
And notebooks.
Just littered with it.
Yes,
Now, who are
indeed.
your favorite poets to read?
Oh, that's
Classics,
tough.
moderns?
Okay, let me start at the beginning.
Shakespeare.
No, no. Lee Bennett Hopkins, who was the children's poetry guru forever, just passed away in the last couple of weeks.
Oh.
When I was in undergraduate school, he wrote a book called Pass the Poetry, Please. And in the first few pages of the book, I thought, oh, I've been out of college a while. Maybe I don't need this book anymore. And I'm rereading it recently, and it says, children should have poetry every day in every subject, because there's no reason why they shouldn't. And so I read that and went, oh, so Lee Bennett Hopkins as a poet, Lee Bennett Hopkins as an advisor,
Yes.
also, he's one of my favorites. I do like, I'm enjoying Joy Harjo right now. I like Mary Oliver. There's all kinds of poets that are going through my mind, and of course the names aren't coming out, but there's nobody in particular. I do like a lot of poetry from a lot of places. I like children's poetry. I like adult poetry. I like senior poetry.
I didn't know that was a genre.
Well, not really, but I mean, there's.
We'll
there's
just make it
scenes-
up right here on the show.
That's it. Done.
I love it.
Yeah.
Trademarked. We got it.
We're good. So, I mean, I started writing, and I came back to writing, and then I really came back to writing. And I entered a contest a few years ago, and I didn't win. And I thought, okay, that's good. I wrote 30 poems in 30 days. Not a bad deal.
Yeah.
So I entered it again, and I got honorable mention. And I entered it again, and then this year I entered it, and I won first prize in the contest.
Right.
So that book will be out in the fall.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
What's
that's
that
called
book going to be called?
Road Trip.
Well, you know what happens if you're going to have a book out in the fall.
Well, there you go.
I'm going to want you back on the show with a new book.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I won't give it away.
We'll
other
keep
than-
your seat warm.
Thank you. That's fabulous.
Absolutely. Oh, that's amazing. So third time's the charm, huh?
I don't know. It was actually maybe the fourth time or the
All
fifth
right,
time.
well,
but
you know.
I just the idea.
Tenacity.
The idea is to. You said something before about don't read this, don't read that. You should read everything. One of the best pieces of advice I got in school was if you're not writing, read.
Yeah,
Because
no, I
if you're
love that.
reading, then you're getting ideas. And if you're not reading, write. And I just finished reading about the something that happened on the Apollo moon launch that I did not know happened. And that was that Buzz Aldrin offered communion.
I didn't know that.
Amazing story. Buzz Aldrin was a Presbyterian elder in Texas, or was in Texas, and each of the astronauts had a pack that they could take with them for personal items. So he thought, well, God's reaching out to the universe with us.
Right.
So why shouldn't the first thing that's celebrated on the moon be the simple elements of bread and wine?
Oh my God.
So he had a little chalice about this big, and he had hosts prepackaged, and he offered communion quietly because there was some resistance after the first astronauts read from Genesis, from Madeleine Murray O'Hair.
Really?
And they didn't say anything about it, but they did it quietly, and that was the first heavenly
Wow.
a heavenly meal on a celestial body.
I had no idea.
So I just wrote a poem about that
Of
because
course.
it just moved me to beyond.
I just got chills up my spine.
It's a really cool thing. So that's my why I love poetry so much is that you have to distill thoughts down into just a few words on a page. And it's not so easy. I think I wrote 5 drafts so far of that before I got to a draft that I think I'm done with. But you don't have to like you when you rewrite a draft. That's got to be hard doing revision, and you as well, because you've got to do just a few. For me, it's just a few words.
Right.
So that's one of the things that
I
I
love that.
love about poetry.
I love that. Now, I know that your copy of The Little Prince has 1,000,000 tabs in it because you've been reading. Could I ask you to read something of yours?
Yes. Oh, thank you.
I would love for you to read something.
Well,
of yours.
since my family is here, I am so excited. My husband, my daughter, my future son-in-law, my brother, my sister-in-law. Thank you so much for being
Love
here.
the audience.
Yes, love it. So let me tell you about this book. This is called Robes, The Art of Being Covered. And I just loved it. I loved writing it because it started with a gift that my husband gave me. Actually, Santa left us 2 beautiful bathrobes under the tree one year. And it said they were from Victoria's Secret, and I still have them, and of course, we still bring them everywhere. But this is called Present. They came from Santa. Victoria made them special. It was her secret and his. Lavish, warm, absorbent, big, comfortable coverings, sash trailing to and from the shower, occasional blanket, pillow, mattress, a quick grab when the doorbell rang, go-to garment for modesty, play, for keeping the in-laws out, for keeping the mood in. The terry perfectly even, drenched in deep indigo, midnight, part of many preludes. Among the finest surprises, the best of all being that which propelled the giver and still does. So this is the center. The most important poem for me is the one in the middle, and it's because my husband gave me these. But the way it kept going was I started thinking about robes and trees robed in leaves and the lawn robed in snow and things robed in ice. And I wrote one for the cherry trees that Japan gave to us. It's a haiku. Ooh. But I called it Overture 1912. You know, you've heard of the 1812 Overture? Well, this was the 1912 Overture. For the gift of the cherry trees from the nation of Japan that continue to robe the lawns of Washington, D.C. each spring. Perched upon the bank, transplants rooted in friendship, the first two blushed and blossomed.
Oh.
So I am a poet that likes to write about what I see, and I found out that I'm different from other poets because I don't always write about me. I like writing about history. I like writing about things I see. I like writing about other poets. This is a wonderful poet by the name of Marilyn Nelson, and she's the most eloquent woman. And she got up to speak at a conference, and I wrote this after what I saw what happened to her. I called it Pushing the Envelope for Marilyn Nelson. Oh my God. Pink tuxedo, doo-wop, mixing tunes and runes. Paper, SPREAD, tipped cups, plastic trinity, music a shuffle, easy order, ears attuned righteously, voice ribboned with word notes, no padding, sweet. Maple helicopter greens, spiraling, robing that warm caramel wisdom. Shuffle, puffle, find. Look, fold, try again. Goods delivered. Now that's about her having a spill. She just, all of her papers went everywhere.
Right.
And so I just thought I would say something nice
Oh,
about her. So that's,
thank you.
oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
They're beautiful.
Thank you.
What a gift. What a gift you have, and what a gift you've given us.
Well, thank you.
And your family. My gosh.
They're a gift.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, God, such a pleasure. And you'll be back with the next book.
Okay.
And we'll be back after this commercial. Thanks.
Let's go. Just go, Mom. No, I've plans with her. I'm sorry, but that's the deal.
A little bit closer, a little bit to the left. Yes, leave your beer, please. Okay, there we go. 3, 2,
Daddy, Daddy! Daddy. Dash, Mommy.
Everybody get up! When you trust yourself, you have the power to make up your life. Studio 1031 is an environment where excellence is always expected. We work with all types of people from all walks of life. We give deserving women something that they wouldn't give themselves. Come join this makeup movement. When you're feeling down, turn your life around. Make up your life.
Do you have a book, either in your head or on your desk, just waiting to get out to anxious readers? Hi, I'm Stephanie Larkin, author, book developer, and head penguin at Red Penguin Books. We're a publishing company specializing in books of all genres and publishing in all formats, including digital, audible, and print books. From business books to romance, memoirs to mysteries, our authors have complete control over their books from start to print. We'll help get your book to booksellers all around. Major booksellers such as Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Walmart, even libraries and bookstores around the world. We believe in our authors. So call or email today to get your free publisher's packet to get started. Just visit us at redpenguinbooks.com and get your book out there and into the hands of your readers. At Red Penguin Books, you call all the shots. So call us today and turn your dreams into a reality.
On the correct side of the road.
Yes, thank God for that. Welcome back to Between the Covers. Thanks so much for joining us. Mary Ann McMahon is a children's author and seems to love the human body here. Her first book, Vinny and Vicky, the Vibrant Viruses. I gotta love the alliteration. But now Tootie, the Tender-Hearted Tooth, which comes with a toothbrush, I believe.
and little bags when I give out.
And little bags.
Yes, little bags and little notebooks.
Oh,
so
yes,
keep
and you
track of
also
their
showed me
visits
that
to the dentist,
if you are a school teacher out there, she also has little worksheets that go with the book. So any of my preschool teachers out there or anything, you can have a worksheet, and there's a connect the dots. I'm guessing that's Tootie.
Yeah. And it's got every letter of the alphabet in there.
I love that! Oh my gosh! So tell us, how did you get into writing children's books about body parts? This is great.
Well, these are just two, actually.
It's an interesting calling to have in life. Did you wake up one morning and say, I'm going to write children's books about body parts?
Well, it's funny that because I started teaching back in 1983.
Okay.
I was teaching first grade. And then after 7 years of teaching first grade, the school that I was in, I had asked if I could possibly move up to maybe second or third grade, and nobody wanted to move down. So the principal said, oh, well, we'd like to open up a preschool. So she said, would you like to open up the pre-K? And I said, sure. So I moved down to pre-K, and I opened up the pre-K, and we had 4 different classes. And it was great because I was in Elmhurst. I was in a school called Ascension School, and it was it was one of the most multicultural communities.
Yes, Queens is the most multicultural
and Elmhurst
county in the world.
So it was so interesting because I had children from all over who spoke all different languages. Actually, one of my students in first grade is actually here today with many of my friends and family.
I love that, and colleagues and whatnot.
colleagues.
Yes.
So anyway, then when I went to teaching pre-K, I was very, physically,
I can
moving
imagine.
around a lot during the day. But then at night, I start to write all kinds of children's stories. I always liked to write, and when I was a child, I wrote in grammar school.
Oh, wow.
So anyway,
but you weren't reading the dark, scary stuff.
Yeah. No, I was reading Nancy Drew.
Writing Tootie the Tooth.
Yeah, we stayed away from those, but I will look at yours. But so anyway, so all of a sudden I seem to have time at night, and so I wrote a whole bunch of stories. This is in the 90s, and I think I probably about 21 stories, believe it or not. So anyway, so then I kind of let them go. You sent them out to a few places, and at that time there was self-publishing didn't really exist. So so then what I decided, I just kind of put them aside. Then I went back to first grade. And then after that, the school that I was in closed. Then I taught 5th and 6th grade at another school. And then I went into a foundation, was looking for future leaders actually in Catholic education. So I had gone in, I applied for that, and I was accepted. So I was assistant principal for 2 years in 2 different schools.
Wow.
And the second school that I was in, there was the Board of Ed pre-K program. So I became the pre-K for all director. So I was in that school, and then I was there part-time because my mom had Alzheimer's at the time. And then I was in 2 schools, and now I'm in a school in Astoria, St. Joseph. So, but anyway, so a couple of years ago, one of my friends said, why don't you get your books, back up again? So I got them out, dusted them off, and I got so 2D. So the first one actually that I had put out was last year.
Vinny and Vicky?
And I had Vinny and Vicky. And actually now we changed the cover.
Oh, okay.
And because I wanted something on the back. So Vinny and Vicky, the Vibrant Viruses. As you could tell, I like alliteration. And this is about 2 viruses that go around. They go around to an elementary school. They go to a shopping mall. And they go to a doctor's office.
And we know where that goes.
And they felt it was told from the virus's point of view. So it was definitely unique. And one of the teachers who used to work with me in my previous school, so she did the artwork, she's wonderful, Agatha. So anyway, so then, but the viruses felt very bad each place they went, that, people were getting sick, start sneezing and coughing. And then at the doctor's office, we had put together what the doctor had told, ways to stay healthy and well. So there's like a little prescription, eat plenty of fruits and vegetables, drink lots of water, all the things to stay healthy and well. So anyway, so then the next book that I revived was Tootie the Tender-Hearted Tooth. And this is the one that everyone seems to really love. So, I did a book signing. We have Donovan's Pub, which has the greatest hamburgers
yes. Absolutely.
in New York. Anyway, so I did a book signing there, and also for Vinny and Vicky. And so when I do the book signings, I give out little the bags,
little
right,
bags
and little
and
notebooks,
pads, yes.
toothbrushes. And so I did one in June.
Nice.
And so anyway, so now I have a few more down the pipe. But this one teaches, because a lot of children are very afraid of going to the dentist. They don't know what to expect. So this kind of alleviates their fears. It has all very colorful pictures. So it starts that Tootie lives in a dark tunnel with 31 of his closest friends. and then it tells about, and everybody, of course, everything is alliteration. Gracie Gums and Emmy Enamel. But it tells about the different parts of the teeth. And Tommy Tongue, that's my brother, has his name in here.
Oh,
He's here today.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Tommy Tongue.
My friend Nancy Novocaine is here.
Nancy Novocaine is here.
I got to get everyone in.
Oh my gosh.
And here's Bristles Brush. And so what I did was I figured this, like I said, would help alleviate. It tells about the different parts of the teeth. And it also tells about kindness and empathy. And because he is Flossy Floss. But what happens is Tingley then ends up, because Cavalier Cavity comes in, and he comes in on, cake, and they have all the sweets.
I'm glad you didn't name Cavity after one of your friends. That would be
No, I know.
Catherine the Cavity.
We didn't think of a C name. So he came in, and then Tingley was afraid he'd have to go away, because he said, I think I have a hole, but I might have to leave. And then, he's comforted by Tootie, and he said, no, Dr. Dentist will save you, don't worry. But so it really, like, I tried to put across the point too in all my stories too of, showing care for each other, showing concern, and, empathy and compassion. So, Tootie had empathy for Tingley, and that they all work together, and that all the teeth, 32 teeth, are all like part of one family.
So do you have these in dental offices around?
So I had given it to my dentist.
Okay.
It was wonderful, right? So and I started dropping it. We dropped it off at one place, but I haven't. I just started doing the worksheets. You know,
Okay.
gotten the worksheets up. So I
Yes.
figured I could bring them all around.
Right,
and,
right, okay. So if you are a
yeah.
preschool teacher or a dentist out there, you definitely want a copy of this book, and it comes with worksheets, and she'll even throw in
And toothbrushes too.
toothbrush
And little
to go with it.
notebooks that you could list your each time that they visit the dentist. So
Oh yes, I love that.
Write the whole tooth.
Yeah, my 22-year-old was at the
Exactly.
dentist this morning. I should have had her read a copy of it.
I'll gladly give a book.
Okay. I'll take an autographed book for my 22-year-old. This way, next time she goes, she can read all about it.
Aw.
She'll love
Sure,
that.
thank
But that's what
you.
we need. We need every pediatric dentist all across New York to have this book.
So,
in
and
there.
I have a whole bunch more, and I have a couple more that are coming down the pike. So I also, when I was back to teaching first grade, 2 stories that I had written. One was a Halloween story, and one was an Easter story. So one of my students, who was in the 4th grade at the time, she drew the pictures, and we made it into a coloring book, and then we sold it for a fundraiser for the school. You
Very
know? So that
cool.
was
I love that.
So that was like really fun. And,
All right. Now,
yeah,
where
she
can they
loved it.
find these books to buy them for their
Okay,
dentist
so
office?
the small there's a smaller version
There's the
available.
small one. There's
right.
the
That's
baby,
the
baby tooth and molars.
That's the little one. So that's available in on Amazon.
Amazon, right?
The bigger one you can get. This is through Ingram, so you can get it in Barnes and Noble. Any of you ask, just go to your local bookstore and they can order it. So this would be like for worldwide, but as I realized, I mean, you learn from experience. I said I should have had them made bigger to begin with,
Right.
but as like I say, from now on they'll be this size because these are really
Sounds
good for
good.
little children.
As long
you
as
know?
they can find them someplace.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
Yeah,
we're going to
so
take a short
anyway.
commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
And I see. Do you have a book, either in your head or on your desk, just waiting to get out to anxious readers? Hi, I'm Stephanie Larkin, author, book developer, and head penguin at Red Penguin Books. We're a publishing company specializing in books of all genres and publishing in all formats, including digital, audible, and print books. From business books to romance, memoirs to mysteries, our authors have complete control over their books from start to print. We'll help get your book to booksellers all around. Major booksellers such as Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Walmart, even libraries and bookstores around the world. We believe in our authors. So call or email today to get your free publisher's packet to get started. Just visit us at redpenguinbooks.com and get your book out there and into the hands of your readers. At Red Penguin Books, you call all the shots. So call us today and turn your dreams into a reality. Okay, just so that we can
I had my
them off with
Facebook
something.
thing, but I'll just tell them. they can
Welcome
look
back
up
to Between the Covers. We're so glad you can join us. And we certainly want you catching all of our authors. So Lisa, where can we find you and your
Okay.
books and more about you?
Okay, so my books will be on lisadiazmeyer.com. They're on Amazon and pretty much anywhere, and the links are on that website. I'm also on Twitter at Lisa D. Meyer, and Facebook, and also Instagram, also Lisa Diaz Meyer. Pretty much is.
And your
out there.
website at Lisa Diaz Meyer is as dark as your
Yeah,
books.
thank
I
you.
love
Thank
that.
you.
No, you have to go to the website. The website really, you're not getting Tootie the Tooth there.
Right.
It's definitely,
Yeah.
the website is just like the book.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. Yep.
And Linda, where can we find your stuff?
You can find my books on both Amazon and Barnes & Noble under Linda Trott Dickman. That's where you can also find me on Facebook. And I do have a Twitter, Linda_Dickman, I think it is. That being said, just stay, if you find me on Facebook, let me know that you saw me here. And if you're a poet, and you're out there
Ooh.
and you would like to talk to me about going to a reading, I run the Portofino once a month, a reading at Portofino in Northport at the coffee
wonderful.
shop. So it's got to be family friendly, and we support good poetry.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. And Miriam, where can we find you?
So the larger version of Tootie you can find at Barnes & Noble or any of the local bookstores. The smaller version can be found on Amazon, and Vinny and Vicky the Vibrant Viruses can be found on Amazon, and I'm attempting to get it onto Ingram so it can be in a
Okay.
larger version. And I'm also on Facebook, and then I have email. So
Okay, and if you forgot everything they just said, go to BetweenTheCoversTV.com because I know I have all of your links, and if I missed any of them, just send them along. But I have your links to your websites, Facebook pages, things like that at BetweenTheCoversTV.com. If you're an author and you'd like to join us, definitely visit there and shoot me a line. But in the meantime, happy reading, and please support our authors. Have a great week. Thanks for joining us.
Yay!